So so I did a tab of LSD today, and the point was to re-record the voiceover for this video that I'm shooting called Van Plan, and yeah, uh, and it went pretty well. However, I was thinking that it was going to improve the experience. Like I thought I would be more interesting on camera, but what actually happened is that it became more stressful because there are so many things that you have to do as a solo filmmaker. So tripping while trying to record a YouTube video, wouldn't recommend it. 2 out of 5 stars. But it was, I don't know, it was still a fun experience. My favorite scene is when I'm talking about the fact that I don't want to buy a used van, so I hold up this, and then like when I say, because it'll break down, because I don't want something that'll break down as soon as I buy it, I go like mid-sentence, and there's this very satisfying cracking sound, which is pretty cool. I like integrating cardboard paper stuff into my videos. It seems to be, it's working really well. People like it, I like it, I don't know. But anyways, so I thought that we would do a little journal tour from the trip, because there was a lot of fun stuff. So let's, I'm not gonna show you absolutely everything, but I was listening to a lot of JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown in the morning, and that really got me going. If you haven't listened to it, they have a new album out called Scaring the Hose. It's just so good. I have it on right now in the background. I'm gonna turn it up for like 2 seconds. Yeah, it's a really good album. I'd recommend it. It's probably my favorite album of the year, maybe my favorite album of all time. I don't know. But if you like underground, weird, hip-hop, rap type of stuff, yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I tried to draw Danny Brown, but it looks nothing like him. And I learned from this that I really need to do some kind of drawing challenge where I learn how to draw portraits properly, because, yeah, I'm just terrible at it. Next thing that happened was I was writing about pain. I've been dealing with this mystery joint pain for the past 4 years, and it's not terrible, but it's irritating. And it's just interesting the difference when you experience pain when you're sober versus on psychedelics, because when you're sober, something is like irritating and it's more like you perceive it as pain, but when you're tripping, it's more like you're just recognizing it as communication from your body. So it's almost like you're more aware of it, but you're also more accepting of it, which is kind of a strange experience. I wrote that people in groups terrify me, comma, herd mentality. I put these little horns on there and little like hooves under it, which was kind of cool. I feel like, yeah, I had this experience when I was in 5th grade where I said something to another kid that got misinterpreted as something offensive, and literally the entire school thought I was evil for like 2 days, and it scared the shit out of me. And ever since then, yeah, whenever I'm in like groups of people, I have this anxiety of thinking that like, I don't know, I'm gonna get like crowd murdered. Not literally, you know what I mean? But yeah, just groups of people really terrify me. Maybe I'll get over it someday if, I don't know, after my 100th trip or something, but it comes up every single time. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm living with my mom right now, and she has like most moms, she has this spider sense for when anything is out of the ordinary. And I think it makes me stressed out because whenever I get into like a good creative, like weirdo mood, I'm having to think about like, okay, like, is this going to set off our spidey sense? And then are we going to have a conversation about like, oh, like what's wrong? Like what's going on? Why are things not normal? And yeah, so that stresses me out. But I think it's a good exercise kind of to live with a parent, because then you get practice at being okay with someone thinking that something's off, if that makes sense. Like, when you're in your room alone, you feel much more comfortable with just being your absolute most weirdest weirdo goofball self. And so I think it's a good practice to like to be that version, to try to be that as much of that version of yourself in front of a person who's worried about that version of yourself, if that makes sense. To kind of like push out your edges. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe. I'm not, I don't know. I don't know if you do. But yeah. Another thing was when I was getting ready to record the voiceover, I was looking for this USB to HDMI adapter, and I was having to go through my drawer over there, which is just absolutely full of cords from being, I don't know, someone who's worked with computers for 5 years and a filmmaker and all this stuff. And it was really stressing me out. Like, it's just, a lot of times you just take these cords and you throw them in a drawer and you just leave them there. And yeah, it's a little annoying, but you don't realize like how much anxiety it produces to have these stupid fucking cords everywhere. So I need to do something about that. One of the challenges for my video is to finish like designing and like optimizing my room. So that's one of the things I need. I really want to get rid of drawers. I hate drawers. The only purpose of drawers is to put junk in them, literally. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this is really funny. I wrote, all great artists suffer. And then under that, I put Van Gogh ear, and then other examples. And then for the third bullet point, it says, I have to struggle to find my HDMI to mini HDMI converter cable. And then in parentheses under that, it says, wretchedly paw through a drawer of incompatible HDMI to thing cables. And it's like so true. It's not on the same level of suffering of cutting your ear off, but I don't know, after you've been looking for 15 minutes for a stupid HDMI cable, you might want to cut your ear off. Not literally, but it's pretty freaking annoying. However, I am grateful that I'm not so stressed out as an artist that I feel that I need to cut my ear off, but I don't know, we'll see. Mom, I hope you're not watching this. Please never watch these videos. I wrote, everyone should be optionally hungry. It's good, but mandatory hunger is what we need to solve. I think, yeah, every time I trip, I just don't want to eat food for like a really long time, and it just feels so good to fast, you know? But it's such a first world problem, not problem, but like experience to like enjoy fasting. You know what I mean? Like if you were literally struggling, it feels, even though it's right, like to fast, it feels insulting to people when people are literally dying because they don't have food or water. So, yeah, yeah, I thought it was really good to like, yeah, to give people little like glimpses of your raw self. Like I had this idea of most of my videos, like my main channel videos, are all scripted. And this channel is the exact opposite. It's totally unfiltered. I just ramble incoherently, and maybe some people will find it interesting, but it's mostly just for me having fun. But anyways, so my videos are scripted, and I thought after I was done recording the voiceover, I was just feeling like really stressed from having the camera on and being on script. And so I just started talking about it, like the stress of having to do everything as a solo filmmaker and whatever. And I thought I should just put this at the end of the video as like a little teaser. I think people really like this when you have long periods of scripted, focused content, and then you have this little snippet of like something 100% real. I don't know, just the contrast is fun. I think that's a good lesson for any kind of creativity, is that you have the polished version of yourself, which is what you have a lot of the time. And then you just like tease people with these little like glimpses into like straight into your brain. You know what I mean? Okay, next page. What else we got? There's some personal stuff in here. In general, like I sent a message to someone on a dating app, and we were kind of like vibing, and it was going really well. And then it was late at night, and I got to that point where I was like, I don't know if I have energy for this, which is a place where I feel like I get to all the time, where I'm YouTubing and I'm running and I'm making food every day and like all of these priorities. And then I'm like, do I have the energy for a relationship? So just like, I was really tired and I thought like, I can't get to sleep. I was just like stressing about it. And so I just unmatched, you know? And it's really unfortunate because social media just makes it too easy for us to do this, to just disappear on people. Like you would never do that in a real conversation. Like you wouldn't just like walk away from someone that you were talking to, but it happens all the time on social media. So anyways, I was really depressed about it because I felt like this is potentially a good connection. And so I managed to find this person on Facebook and sent a message to her. And I was like, yo, I'm sorry. I was like tired and stressed out from work and I just unmatched a few. And yeah, do you want to go on a hike? So yeah, I hope it works out because it was, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And yeah, where was I? Oh yeah. So I wrote, hell is 3 dots in a bubble, blinking forever, but never coming to words. I feel like that's the main stress of social media and dating apps specifically, is that you're not in front of the other person. There's so much of a gap between you, and like everything in between is this like internet that separates you and confuses everything. And it's so much easier just to talk to people. Like, I don't know. I wish there was an easier way to meet people that didn't involve social media. But I mean, right now, I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard. It's hard to meet people. It's hard to meet people that you really connect with. But yeah. Okay. Moving on. Yeah. So I wrote, without psychedelics, your feelings just get pushed down to where you can't access them, like this, like the pit right here. It keeps focusing on my face, which is really annoying. I need to get a new camera. This is the 6400 by Sony, and it's a great camera, but the autofocus is really annoying when it comes to faces. Yeah, so I've noticed this, like if I don't take psychedelics regularly, it's like even if I journal, even if I talk about my feelings, it just feels like everything just gets pushed down. You know what I mean? It's like your feelings just sort of start to turn to cement and like just cement down like that garbage smasher thing from Star Wars. You know, it's like here's Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and then like those are your emotions, and then they just get like squashed into this little like garbage cube. So yeah, the first video I uploaded on this channel, I was thinking about doing psychedelics every week for a year, because this person I follow, Ayla, who's a sex researcher, did the same thing, and it seemed to be really positive for her. And you know, after I made that video, I thought maybe this is really crazy, but I don't think it is. I think the most important part is probably getting a good night of sleep. Like I had a really good productive day today, and I didn't use social media at all, which is really good, which I'm going to talk to later. I wrote something about that I think is pretty interesting. Okay, I lost my train of thought, so we're just going to move on. Yeah, I don't want to become, I wrote, I don't want to become a delusional supplement person who thinks they've accomplished things that they haven't. I wrote that because so for like 10 years I've been dealing with thyroid issues, and I only really realized that it was a problem probably within the last couple years, or at least I only started to kind of like take the treatment or the healing into my own hands after the medical system like really did not help me whatsoever. So yeah, I went through this period where I stopped taking supplements for a long time, and then now I'm going back to working with a practitioner that I worked with before, and I'm going back to trying to take them. And hold on, let me show you. My closet is literally so messy because I'm trying to make this video of the best 50 barefoot shoes. And so brands keep sending me barefoot shoes, but I've got like 25 pairs now, and I want to save the boxes because I'm going to get rid of them eventually, but I have to keep them until I make the best 50 barefoot shoes video. So my closet is just a dumpster fire. It's an absolute mess, and I don't even want to look at it, but things are going to get better after I make the video. Anyways, that was a long closet tangent, but we were back. And this is what I want to show you. Yeah, I'm not taking all of these right now, but a couple of things that I started doing regularly lately is taking 3x magnesium glycinate for relaxation and better digestion. I'm trying L-tyrosine, which is a precursor for thyroid hormone. And then tonight, I'm gonna try GABA, which is it's a relaxant, and hopefully it's gonna help me get to sleep at night because of joint pain, because my brain always just runs at a million miles an hour. It's been really hard to get to sleep lately for whatever reason. Maybe it's stress, I don't know. But we're gonna try that. Yeah, and then I'm also trying this bone renewal with magnesium and calcium and a bunch of other stuff from Pure Synergy. So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm going back into crazy supplement land, but I don't know. Like if you're someone who's ever struggled with any kind of chronic health problems, you reach a point where the traditional routes are not helping you, and you just have to try stuff and see what works. And yeah, we are just back to trying stuff and seeing what works. But I think an important thing of taking supplements is being honest with yourself about whether you're actually getting results or not. Because I see a lot of people like in reviews and influencers and videos where they'll talk about, oh, I feel so much more relaxed and this and that, but you have to measure things, you know what I mean? Like, you're either getting a good night of sleep or you're not, you know? So I keep a log, like a daily log, where I put like out of 10 what quality sleep I'm getting, so that I'm not, I think what happens a lot of times is that people will get, they'll have like one good day or a couple of good days on a supplement, and then in their mind they'll think this supplement is improving things, but then if you don't track things on a daily basis, you don't really know whether things are improving, and you've just got this thing stuck in your mind where you think that things are improving. And that's what I'm talking about with the crazy supplement person. That's what I don't want to turn into that. So yeah, I think I've done a good job of like keeping metrics and everything. So I would recommend that. I think for psychedelics as well, it's good to have metrics on yourself. Like I keep metrics for creativity and how I sleep, how much I exercise, just basic things like that. It's good to track that, because then you know, like, is this working? Like, is this helping me out? Okay. I'm gonna get some water and I'll be right back. Oh God, I was getting really parched there, but we're back. This is really funny. I wrote, eating straight chickpeas, etc. on an empty stomach is like unleashing Godzilla on small town America. Then I've got a little Godzilla right there. He's so cute. I've got a little cowboy. He's shooting like a little a 6-shooter at Godzilla. And yeah, one of the things I noticed, actually I noticed this a lot, but if I just go from 0 to 100, 100 being like eating a bowl of chickpeas and like avocado and whatever, my stomach just, it's like overwhelmed, you know? So in the morning I have celery juice, but I haven't been doing it in the afternoon, and I think that that's a good thing to do before every meal because it sort of gets your stomach and your digestive system ready to handle other like more complicated things rather than just dumping it all on yourself all at once. And then under that, yeah, so it was like Unleashing Godzilla on Small Town America, and then under that I wrote, except they haven't even heard of Bigfoot, aka celery juice. Yeah, that was a fun metaphor. And I also wrote, stomach doesn't have enough firepower yet. So yeah, it's like small town America facing Godzilla. They need to be exposed to Bigfoot first, you know, or some sort of monster first before they deal with Godzilla. You know, you got to bring the army in. The army's not going to come unless, yeah, whatever. This metaphor is falling to pieces, but we're going to move on. We're just not going to worry about it. Drink celery juice, kids. Yeah. The other thing I did, which I made this paper cardboard thing, which looked kind of cool, but I didn't end up liking the style of it. I wrote, we're starting to get tired. I was pretty fatigued at that point. I think it was about 2 or 3 p.m. And yeah, the brain was starting to get really tired. But under that I wrote, which is pretty cool, I like to tear up little pieces of paper. And I was tearing them literally off the journal itself. And I ended up reusing some of the scrap paper to make, just like some little, I don't know, leaves or something. And it reminded me of how Native Americans use all the parts of the animals that they kill or the plants that they harvest. They don't waste anything. And so I was kind of doing the same thing with paper. I thought that's a pretty cool mindset to have for making art in general. You know, like always use all of the pieces. When you have scraps left over, do something with them because it's a really good way to, they're sort of like the scraps of one idea are like the seeds for another idea to, you know, repurpose it into something else creative, which is, yeah, it's a pretty cool mindset. What else do we have? Yeah, I was working out in the sunroom on the other part of the house, and this room is like a cave. There's a window here and there's a window there, but not much light comes into them, so it can feel like a cave creature sometimes working in here. That's another thing I noticed about recording the voiceover is that I have the shades drawn and the video light here, and I think with the script, it just, I don't know. I want to do more recording outside because it can be kind of depressing just sitting there in front of video light with no outside light. Yeah, so what I learned, well, I don't know if I learned anything. I did learn something. I learned that I like being in the sun, which is, you know, I mean, I already knew that, but sometimes, you know, tripping reminds you of the things that you should know. So the sunroom has like all these windows in it, and that's one of the reasons why I want a van, is because I just want like these big picture windows that just pour light in, you know, and you can just open the windows themselves, get some air in. Yeah, I feel like the more you feel like you're outside, the more creative you are, the happier you are, the more relaxed you are. It's these conditions of artificial light, and yeah, it doesn't make you feel good. So there's the sunroom. Come on, focus, little Sony. There we go. All right, the next thing, this was pretty cool. I wrote, I wish you could embed audio files in paper, because I did this little cutout of like an audio file playing, and I thought, how cool would that be if you were journaling and you could just have like an audio file in your literal journal, and then you could just press play on it whenever you wanted to, if you wanted to relive a moment or something, or just see how you were feeling at a given point. Yeah, so, and then that led me to thinking, I really want to do more of these like paper stop motion things, because I feel like this comic style that I do with my iPad, first of all, working on my iPad is draining. Like any digital person knows that it can be very tiring working at a high intensity LED screen. So I just, yeah, I don't know. I want to have this paper format of making stuff because you can do it quicker and then you become more inspired versus working to perfect something, which is fine too. But yeah, it's really hard to get inspired if you have such a long process of making everything perfect on a digital device. And paper is just quick and yeah. This one's pretty funny. Hide your kids, hide your wives. But mostly your kids. It's a critical life skill knowing the difference between being turned on or just needing to peek. I don't think I need to say anything else about that. Yeah. And then I went off on this weird thing where I wrote, if I were any higher, the microphone is going to need to start telling jokes through me. It was, I don't know, I was envisioning myself doing stand-up or something, and I thought, what if the microphone started telling jokes for me? And I didn't really flesh this out, but I had this vision of like the microphone saying, like complaining about how this bearded YouTuber was like getting his beard bristles up in the microphone's grill, and he was like, like not too close, you're not my cardioid pattern, and like everyone in the audience would groan. This is why I don't do stand-up comedy. you see why I don't do stand-up comedy. I kind of want to though, so we're gonna keep working on it. We'll get better. I feel like the level that I'm at with stand-up comedy right now is the level that Dee Reynolds is at from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, and then when I was tearing out things, I realized that the page is actually cannibalizing itself by tearing out the page from the journal and then taping the torn page to the journal. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. And then I went out on a nature walk, and that was really good. And I stopped on a boardwalk just to draw, to sketch. And I haven't taken my journal with me out on a walk for a really long time, which I need to do, because it's like, if you don't have the thing that you need to write your ideas down with you, then you don't come up with ideas because your brain doesn't get that feedback. You know what I mean? So I think it's really important to have, I don't know, whether it's a tape recorder or a journal or a sketchbook or whatever you want. So just always have it with you so that when you have a thought, you write it down, and then it increases the loop of creativity so you get more and more creative. I wrote that when I have to talk to people that I don't want to talk to, it feels like being accosted. I don't know that I've ever used that word, but I feel like that when I'm out on a walk and I'm focusing on something and then I have to like make conversation with a stranger or something. I've talked about this before, but for introverts, when people do that to you and they just talk about the weather or some stupid shit, it's like Pokemon on Game Boy where you're walking along, and if you cross like someone else's line of vision, you have to like Pokemon battle them. That's how I feel about people. It constantly comes up for me. I wish I could find a way to avoid everyone forever. No, not everyone, but yeah. What else we got? I ran into this guy who had long hair, and he was, I don't know, he looked kind of bummed out or whatever, just had his hands in his pocket. It was like 80 degrees. Like who has their hands in their pocket walking along at 80 degrees? I don't know. It's just crazy. It's a crazy thing to do is all I'm saying. And I said, how's it going? And then he was like, oh, good. How are you? I'm like, good. And then it occurred to me, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should say, like, hey man, or what's up man? Like maybe I should say man, because maybe it's important to acknowledge that we're both men. Like I feel when you're connecting with people, it's important to find the common point of connection. And when you don't refer to something that's a common point of connection, it's almost like you're keeping this person at arm's length by not acknowledging it. You know what I mean? That was interesting. Maybe I feel like it might lead to better connections. Of yeah, if just looking for more specificity in the words that you choose to use with people. Yeah, so we're getting towards the end, and I'm tired from just talking about this very long day, but lots of interesting things happened. So anyways, yeah, towards the end of the day, I was getting tired, and I was thinking about like using social media, because this is what I do. When I get tired, I think about scrolling, and I wrote, it's so hard to decide whether you should do a certain thing at a given time. Like, what's a valid reason for checking social media? How do you actually determine whether you should or shouldn't do something? I mean, you kind of know, but at the same time, it's like, I'm feeling lonely. Like, is that a good reason to check social media? Probably not, but why? I mean, specifically, why is that not a good reason? And I wrote, because it goes back to this whole thing about blurry cravings. Essentially, like, if you can't articulate why you should do a certain thing, then you shouldn't do it. However, then you also have to wonder, like, what does it mean to clearly articulate? Like, when is something clearly articulated or not clearly articulated? And I guess the only thing I have to say for that is, like, it's just, I don't know, it comes down to feeling. Like, if you can't, in like a sentence, explain why something is important for you to do, then it's probably not important for you to do. We're at the very end, my friends, and if you're still here, my God, praise be. Yeah, so I think this is okay. We've got two things left. Yeah, so I ended up not using social media at all, which was really good. And I wrote that one day sets an example for the next, especially a psychedelics day, which is why you shouldn't use social media while tripping, because it reinforces bad habits 10x. And there you go. And it's really true, like when you engage in bad habits one day, it translates over to the next day. But yeah, if you're tripping, it translates over like 10x or 100x. It really reinforces bad behavior. So I feel pretty proud that I went through an entire day without using social media whatsoever. And yeah, I'm just gonna end it on the fact that I was pretty depressed about this person not writing back, because I was just worried that I had messed it up by unmatching, even though I wrote to them on Facebook to kind of like apologize and be like, yo, do you want to do something? But yeah, so I ended the day listening to Fall in Love by Great song. I haven't heard that song in so long, since I was working as a shoe salesman. And yeah, it's hold on, I'm just gonna play a little bit of it just to end the video. Love, have you guys heard this song? It's really good. It came out, I don't know when it came out, but it's kind of like a classic at this time. Just like the piano chords. Okay, I don't want to play too much because of copyright reasons, but yeah. But anyways, it was a nice day. It was a nice way to end the day and just kind of chill with just the feeling of loneliness and missed connections, and hoping that you do connect with someone eventually. And enjoying like the little connections that don't work out. Like, those are fun too, So I'm just gonna leave things there. I hope that you guys felt connected to my rambling a little bit. Yeah, feel free to like skip around these videos or whatever if you want to, but yeah, I've enjoyed being here with you for, let's see, what do we have? 35 minutes, my God. Okay, well, have a good night. Thank you for watching. See ya.